It seems you could not live with your own failure. Where did that bring you? Back to me.
Something, as of recently, has been on my mind, and I consider myself a teacher, a helper, someone who could possibly inspire people to be better. So, with that being said, this is a PSA for all the men out there.
I thought by making my first video response, you would learn that bitching and complaining at men will not compel them to act in the way of which you wanted. But now I see that you are unable to understand that having an incredibly nagging and bitching attitude will not create the men that you want. And really what you need is a whole paradigm shift in your perspective of what the problem is. So, with the Infinity Stones, I can't keep it up. Just go. Just go. I broke character too many times.
And all the boys who think they're men, but they're actually boys. This is going to be the summer of canceling boys. Now, from my own personal experiences and the experiences of all of my friends, which range in age from 24 to 36, we've all got issues. Now, I will also say this. All of my friends are attractive. All of my friends are successful. All of my friends have something going on. Almost every single one of them have an issue with men.
That, of course, means that the issue is men. Not that they have some kind of issue, that they might need to overcome.
And you have to start looking at that and thinking, if an age range of that many people, including myself, living really all over the country and being blonde, brunette, short hair, long hair, tan, super white, super pale, these women range in every body type and everything.
What about the bloody redheads, man? And what about the raven-haired girls, And the chicks with black hair? What about them? What about the Latinos? Come on. Come on, buddy. What about, I don't even know why just get to the point.
They're all successful, they're all intelligent, they're all good people.
Well, that's their first mistake. I know, it's kind of interesting calling it a mistake. I've often said this in private, so I'll say it in public. But it seems to me that status oftentimes just ruins women. Because what it oftentimes does is rather than makes their life easier, it just seems to extradite all of their issues and all of their problems exponentially. Because now they don't really have anything to distract them from the fact that they themselves are probably be a crappy person. And so what they don't recognize is that, hey, look, I'm a rich and successful woman. How come I have trouble dating guys? Well, it's probably your perspective on the guys that you're attempting to date in the first place. Because what most women do is they don't try to date men based on who they are. They date men based on what the men can give them. And because they're already successful women, they're going to be trying to look at men like, hey, how are you going to add more value to my life? Rather than them thinking, how can I add value to yours? Which, interestingly enough, is where most men are probably thinking in their relation to women, but it's not really the opposite when it comes to ladies. So they basically just kind of defeated themselves off rip because in their minds, males have to be on their level socially and economically. Not on their level in terms of character, mind you, or virtue. Not on their level in terms of morality and having the same values and wanting to create families and help each other out in life. No, that's not be the issue here. You already know what the issue is because the guys in their bracket of economic success are the same guys that probably don't really give too much of a flying Galapagos Gertie about trying to form a family. Basically, it's just a roundabout way of saying you played yourself.
But if all of these women, including myself, are having issues, then I have to think it might not be us. It might be you. It might be men.
I know, right? Considering the fact that there's a whole internet subculture like incels of which you ladies can pick from, clearly the issue is not you guys. It has to be everyone else. Clearly. It's not you guys are acting like there aren't options available. Well, I know incels are all misogynists and they hate women, so you probably don't want to touch them, but you go to anime convention, right, Tommy? A lot of single guys there who probably aren't incels. You can go to a library too. I'm just saying. I'm just, maybe, I'm just saying.
Might be men. Now, I've often talked about the pussification of America and how men are no longer men.
I remember. And I was incredibly disappointed with you then as I am now, because it seems you have learned nothing in these, 5 years it's been?
I talk to my mom about this a lot, and she says, well, maybe it's just the guys in Texas. Maybe it's just the guys in Los Angeles. Maybe it's just the guys... It is not just the guys in Los Angeles, Nashville, Dallas, and they're not any better in the Midwest. Quite frankly, I think they're trash all over this country in the age range of about 20 to I think about 55, maybe even 60. A lot of men are trash. A lot of men don't know how to treat women. A lot of men don't know how to really, quite frankly, pull their heads out of the sand and pay attention.
Or maybe your expectations of what you consider to be a man, or perhaps your criteria of what you call a man, is a bit skewed and a little misguided. Perhaps if you cared more about virtue and integrity, you would find yourselves that there are plenty of men of which you could choose from. But you won't, so I don't even know why I said that. I mostly said it for any woman that will come by and listen, because I don't know if you are going to be one of them.
So I am going to help you. And these are some of the things that I've experienced, and these are some of the things my friends have experienced. I'm just going to lay a few things out. They haven't all happened to me. Some of them have just happened to my friends. A lot of them have happened to me. So, the first thing, and I've made notes, by the way. I've made notes. This is how invested I am in this, because I've been thinking about this for about 2 weeks solid now. First question for men. If you like a girl, if you're even somewhat interested in a girl, you need to ask yourself this question. Are you single? No, I don't mean are you kind of single, seeing 5 people, dating somebody, still kind of in a relationship, kind of broken up, kind of on again, off again, kind of married, kind of divorced. Are you actually single? That means single. You have nobody. You have no complications. You have no attachments. You are actually single. That is the first question, believe it or not, that needs to be asked.
So, here's the thing. It's not my most virtuous moments, but I have done this before. And here's why. Let me explain it, because I don't think a lot of women really appreciate, the male experience, okay? They really don't. Because here's the God honest truth. Trying to court women, if you invest and commit to one woman, the chances are it ain't gonna work. I've never even met a woman that even respected my ability to commit to them, because they just didn't want me, so it didn't matter. I guess I was just creepy or whatever. Excuse me. I don't know. It's a terrible human being, I guess. But I would do that. And I would only commit to one woman. I only talk to one woman. And I'd eventually always find myself alone. And so when I started talking to multiple women at the same time and ended up getting rejected by them, it was easy to bounce back, because then I could just talk to another woman. And I know it's crappy and it sucks, but here's the thing. I ended up getting rejected by all of them. So honestly, for me, it really doesn't matter. What you really seem to be upset with is more Chad, who's able to actually form and have sex and have relations with the women, and then not really commit to them fully. Because although I talk to multiple women, it's mostly because I'm pretty sure I'm going to get rejected, and I don't really actually have to commit to her. So I just try to get nudity. Okay, it's not right. But what else? There's nothing else I could do. I tried to commit to women. I tried to be kind. I tried, and I failed spectacularly on several occasions. I don't know what you want, Tommy. I don't. I'm sorry, kind of. But at the same time, I was single, super single, and tried to commit to a woman, and they didn't give a fuck. So.
And ladies, you should be asking it, because in 2020, it's not a given anymore that a guy that's actively pursuing you is actually single. So that's the first thing.
I don't know, man. It sounds like you're raging against Chad. Because I guarantee you, vast majority of males 100% are not doing this. I'm going to be real honest with you. This is a criticism for about 35% of men. About 35% of dudes are doing this. The other 65%, they're probably just single. Okay? You picking up what I'm putting on the table? Probably not.
that I think is very important that men don't seem to understand. There are very few women out there, and I'm speaking from personal experience as well as from all of my friends and all the women, quite frankly, that I talk to. There is not a woman out there that wants to be your pen pal. She doesn't want to get your texts, your good morning texts, your good night texts, your random through the day texts, if they don't follow up with a plan to actually, here's the kicker, in person, hang out. Now, I know what you're saying. Oh, it's COVID. People can't hang out in person. This has not been a 4-month problem. This has been a 5-year problem that I've experienced with men and my friends have experienced with men.
No, honestly, buddy, I'm going to ask you this question with all sincerity. As a strong, independent woman that don't need no man, Tommy, as I assume that you probably believe yourself to be, why don't you just make plans, dude? Why don't you just suggest to do something too? It's like, what? You can do that. So a phone is a two-way form of communication. I understand you don't want a pen pal. You don't want to send texts all the time. You want to go see him? Then go see him. Then do it. Just do it. You know what I mean?
Women do not want a pen pal. We don't want a texting pal. We quite frankly don't care if you text us all day or if you don't text us at all. If you're not going to make a plan to actually see us in person, not interested.
I'm gonna be real honest with you, Tommy. Like, if the dudes that you're meeting are like only texting you and they're not like trying to form plans, pal, buddy, I mean, you're the common denominator there.
And if you do have a woman out there that just wants to be your pen pal, it's probably because she has a boyfriend or a husband or a wife or whatever. We don't want a pen pal. But that also leads me to my second point. This is going to be backwards for you guys. Make plans. Make a plan. Do not assume that you can text somebody randomly in the middle of the day, what are you doing? Or text them at midnight or 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. or even just within hours of when you actually want to see them and think that they're going to be available.
Tommy, let me peep game you on this one. Those people are texting you in the dead of night because they're horny and they wish to slay your poon with their penile instrument. Pal, you're upset with Chad. You're just ain't really a criticism for us normal men who just look at pornography. You know what I mean?
All right. Next thing. Value. Okay? Value. Take that in. Just repeat it to yourself until it makes sense. Okay. If you want to date a girl that has nothing going on, then that's fine. But please do not mix in people like me and my friends who have something going on with your other girls that have nothing going on.
Tommy, I have two things to say in response to that. Thing number one, as clearly demonstrated by everything you've said thus far, you have a very flawed understanding of males. So again, allow me to be your liaison into the male experience. Because women just seem to not understand this. They really don't. But men like women. We don't like doctors. We don't like news anchors. We don't like maids. We don't like lifeguards. We don't like accountants. We don't like cashiers. We don't like fry cooks. We don't like pilots. And we don't like flight attendants. And we don't like plumbers. And we don't like door-to-door sales. We like women. So all of that stuff, all of your job, occupations, all your go-getter, all your ambition, all that means nothing. Because we don't care about that. Because we like women. We like you. You can be homeless, but you're still a woman. You don't have to do or be anything as a woman to get males to like you, because we like the woman. Okay? Which means, Tommy, sorry to burst your bubble, but if you're in the same category as Tatiana, as you put it, which is very racist, by the way, no, not really. But if you're in the same category as Tatiana, then that means he holds you in the same regard as Tatiana, which means you're a woman, and he wants to bang you. He does not see a foreseeable future with you. He doesn't care about all your ambition. It means nothing because you're a woman. And point number 2, most of the male experience when learning to court women or try to date women is that we are trained. We are trained to become providers, of which we will hold our families up and take care of them and make all of the money and protect them from all these different things. If our job in society, or our job relative to what women want, is to ultimately take care of them, what goddamn difference does it make if they're ambitious, if they're going to pick males who are going to try to take care of them anyway? If our entire experience as males is we're the ones that have to take care of them, what John Brown crispy bloody hell of a difference does it make? You probably didn't even think about that, did you? I know you didn't, because otherwise you wouldn't have said what you said.
Job that is unimportant. There is no job that's not valuable or that's not worthy. It is. But if you want to mix in people like me and people like my friends who are go-getters, who work really hard, who make their own money, who are talented, skilled, ambitious, please don't mix us in with the Tatianas. We don't want to be there. If that's what you want, find them. Please, for the love of God, do not mix us in with them because we don't want to be there.
You know, it's interesting. I've noticed, and Tommy, your feelings betray you. Like, lots of women always seem to, like, judge their worth based on, like, the males they can attract. And they always seem to, like, base their worth, like, relative to, like, the women around them. And, like, this is Tommy basically expressing that, like, she feels degraded or she feels insulted, that she's in the same regard as these women who are not on her level, as she would put it. Of course, what Tommy fails to understand is that men like women, and thus your ambition and your occupation mean absolutely nothing to us, because at the end of the day, you still have a vagina. That's kind of all you really need. Now, hopefully, a good amount of character comes with that vagina. You would hope. I would honestly argue if character does not come with said vagina and womb, you shouldn't touch it with a 39.5-foot pole. That's me. I would encourage everyone to listen to me, because despite the fact that I'm just some nigga on the internet, I'm trying to help you not have random children with women you hate. So you should listen intently. But all I'm saying is character matters. And it seems that your biggest issue here, Tommy, is the fact that you're arrogant and you're only trying to date a specific subset of males that you're trying to change, rather than change your perspective on men and the purposes of relationships.
And quite frankly, we take it as an insult if we find out that you are also talking to 5 Tatianas who have nothing going on.
Oh, you actually said it. Oh.
People like me and my friends are going to be insulted by that. And there's almost really no coming back from it. So if you want that kind of a girl, the kind of girl who's just kind of happy, going through the motions of life, not really super ambitious, hasn't really found herself yet, doesn't really have a whole lot going on other than she's pretty, please just go after them. And please do not mix us in. We don't want to be there.
Tommy, you can be the greatest hairdresser in the world. You can be a fantastic zookeeper. You could be a phenomenal dentist and an excellent surgeon. But listen when I tell you this, as if you will ever hear it. But we, as men, don't care. Because it's our jobs to take care of you. So what difference does it make if you have your own money, if you're not even going to use it for the act of taking care of yourself, if it's our jobs to do it, dumbass?
I promise you. So value. There's a lot of women out there that I know that are my good friends who have amazing jobs, who work really hard, but who can't seem to find a decent guy, even if they go up in age 5 to 10 to 15 years, because those guys all want to be with 21-year-olds who have nothing going on. It's very unfortunate. I don't think it's going to be fulfilling.
It's going to be fulfilling for someone in more ways than one.
But I would say to the men out there, try to maybe find a woman that you can talk to, communicate with, might actually have her shit together, might actually be ambitious and have something going on or want to have something going on.
Let me stop you right there, fam. Okay. The dudes, the 45-year-olds who end up with 21-year-old women, I'll be honest with you, fam, that's a system that women created, and all the men did was just become what the women wanted. They became 40-year-old men that had status and have money and can now basically afford to prostitute young ladies, because that's essentially what they are. It's just prostitution with a lot of steps. Or more accurately, it's prostitution with like a long stretch of time and investment. We didn't make that system up, though. It was women.
I don't care what she does. She doesn't have to be on TV. She doesn't have to be a PhD. She doesn't have to be a television producer. She doesn't have to own her own company, but be ambitious and have something going on. Those women out there are going to be a lot more fulfilling to you. You're actually going to enjoy your time. And if you actually might want a sustainable and healthy and stable relationship, that's probably the kind of girl you're going to need to find. Not the Tatianas who just want to look cute and post Instagram stories.
Tommy, I'm going to be honest with you, fam. If you have to explain this to males, then that probably means that they don't want that. Because any man that does want that would just go for it. He wouldn't wait for you to like explain it to him.
The next thing on my list is this: consistency. It really does not help me or my friends or any woman in general if you are really cool and you're really interested when you first start talking to them, and then give it 3, 4, 5 days and all of a sudden you're not consistent anymore. You don't make plans. You don't really care. You kind of fade in and out. You're talking to 5 other Tatianas. Consistency is important. Now, if you want to be inconsistent and you want to ghost and you want to fall off the radar, that's fine, but I'm going to give you a pro tip. People like me and people like my friends, we aren't going to really give a shit after that.
Well, evidently, if the person ghosted, he didn't give a shit either.
We don't really care. The F's have been given and we're kind of done. I'll tell you this from personal experience. Once I'm turned off, I am turned off and I don't care anymore.
You know, I've noticed that about women. Women seem to always be able to like immediately cut off their like affection or like care for males at the drop of a hat. Which really makes me wonder where the bloody hell that whole kind, affectionate, and empathetic sex stereotype came from, with their ability to psychopathically like cut off all caring for males. But my confusion aside, I have also noticed that never really ever seems to apply to like people that have crappy characteristics and probably will make awful fathers to their children. I've noticed that. I wonder why that is.
Because at one point, I probably did care. At one point, my friends, they probably did care. They probably did like you because you expressed interest and maybe you were cool and maybe you were kind of fun to hang out with.
Because you were attractive. Let's notice how it's not because you had virtue. It's not because you were honorable. Notice how those weren't the words. Those weren't the adjectives she elected to use. It was because you were cool. Not because you were an excellent human being to be around and would probably make a really good husband. Because, newsflash, guys, in case you haven't picked up on it, that's not really their primary concern. And if you're a woman, let me peep game you on this one. Your relationships suck because that's not your primary concern. If it was, half of the crap you deal with, you wouldn't have to deal with. Don't get mad at me. I'm just talking.
But if you're not consistent and you fall off the radar, I give you maybe 1 to 2 chances to fix that, because I'm a very direct communicator. Women, this is important. I will communicate to you. If your communication isn't great, I will let you know that. I will let you know that more effort is needed. But if you don't heed that warning and I have to warn you twice, I'm done at that point because I don't really care anymore.
Tommy, my dear, listen, and listen well. That person doesn't like you. That's the long and short of that. I'm sorry to put it to you so bluntly, but I'm just speaking from personal experience, okay? Sometimes, as humans, I assume females also feel the same way. We can have like an intense interest in wanting to know something about someone or learn, or be with someone. And then we talk to them And then we find out that we actually don't really like them. So we slowly fade away. It's not the most honorable thing to do. But honestly, Tommy, if the person slowly faded away or they ghosted you, the long and short of it is, they probably just don't like you. You're just gonna have to accept that. I know I do. Shit. You gotta accept it when you're a male. When you're a dude, you gotta take that shit on the chin and keep going. You can't just sit around and be like, well, you had your chance, lady. You had your chance, but I don't care no more. Well, she don't care no more either. So I guess, you guys just walk right past each other then.
Now I'm done. Now I don't care. And I know my friends who are watching this are thinking and saying the same thing because we have these conversations on an almost daily basis. Once you turn us off, we don't care anymore. So let that be a warning to you. You're probably not going to circle back. They always come back. They always come back.
Tommy, that's because they want to have sex with you. It's not because they like you. Someone had to tell you. It sucks it had to be some nigga on the internet, but someone had to tell you.
My last thing on my list is also very important. Don't be, excuse my language, don't be a bitch. Don't be a bitch.
Oh, jeez.
Don't be a bitch. If you have then failed and you lost a woman of value like myself or my friends, and then we don't really care anymore, don't be a bitch. Don't be butthurt. You did it to yourself.
Go on, Tommy. Go on. Rage against the Chad machine. This will turn Chad into a wise male who will wish to commit to you. Go on. Rage against Chad. That'll make him commit.
Okay? And it's no longer my problem. Now it's become a personal problem of yours. So don't be a bitch.
Tommy. Honestly, I ask with all sincerity, why do you care? Like if you reject, like you're done. Like he ghosted you, or he did whatever, or he had multiple girls. Like why do you care? What does it matter if he's acts like a bitch, or like he's butthurt? Like it is what it is, ain't it? Like you just said you don't care anymore. Like what difference does it make? Why don't you just let him be a bitch ass nigga somewhere else? I don't understand like why you felt the need to rant about this in your like pro tip video for males. Like it'd be like, first of all, here's the thing. Excuse me. If the woman stopped caring about you and you decide to be a bitch, well, you don't lose anything. Like that. I mean, there's no reason to not be that way, except just for the personal integrity. But I mean, clearly, if you picked someone with integrity, you would never have to say this to them.
So don't be a bitch. And by the way, if I'm no longer interested because your effort is shitty, that's not me being a bitch. That's not me being difficult. That's me having a standard in which I expect from people.
Of course, notice how the standard is not being a wise human being who would make a great father to her children. Her standard is all about placating her ego, which is exactly the issue of modern relationships, by the way. They want people to validate them more than they actually have some goal or intentions with that person in mind. Well, goal and intention is usually just to like do the sideways happy dance and then just like not talk to them again.
I do have high standards and high expectations. My friends have high standards and high expectations. Do you want to know why? We've worked for those.
I'm going to say this until I'm bloody blue in the face. But how did you work towards having the high standard and high expectation of a kind individual? I'm just wondering, like, why do you deserve that? Or like, why did you like work to have like the standard of like someone who is honest and forthright with their feelings, or someone who has intelligence and actually has intentions and a reason for wanting to court you? I'm just wondering, because it seems to me that you shouldn't have to work to have those high standards. Those high standards of wanting an individual that wants to love you and care about you should just kind of be the default position. You picking up what I'm putting on the table? Okay, fine. For those of you all who are too damn stupid to pick up what I put on the table, you don't work to have high standards for people because your social status is absolutely meaningless in terms of reproducing with other human beings. I know other human beings put meaning and stress upon your social status and economic status, but ultimately it's bloody meaningless because a penis enters a vagina the same way, whether that vagina has lots of money or whether that penis has lots of money. What's important is the actual relationship that will bring forth children that you should take care of and raise and help be healthy individuals. My point is, Tommy, you and your friends are a bunch of dumbasses who are only thinking about social status and only thinking about standards, only thinking about having your ego stroked. You guys aren't actually thinking about trying to create a family or a meaningful relationship. That's why you always find yourself to be disappointed.
Okay? We work hard. We're successful. We take care of ourselves. We try to look cute. We have a desire to be something more each day. Okay? That's why we have the ability to be somewhat what you call difficult.
Tommy, you guys aren't difficult. You guys are stupid or inane, perhaps asinine, maybe foolish. Any one of those adjectives would be a little bit more accurate to the actual issue that you and your friends are having. But difficult would not be that word. That's not the adjective that should be applied to you guys. Because you guys are mighty stupid if you are successful, attractive, cute women and you can't find men to date. But this woman can.
It's not difficult. We just have a baseline standard. And if you can't meet that standard, that's okay. A lot of men cannot.
Oh, you mean a lot of men can't meet the standard of being a decent human being that has integrity, virtue, honor? Perhaps they can't. But I find it particularly interesting how that does not seem to be the standard of which you're holding males to, Tommy. It says a little bit more about you than it does about men, but I'm sure you're not ready to have that conversation.
But if you are one of those men out there, and I have them all over my DMs, sometimes I check them, and you guys are like, what would it take to be with someone like you? What would it take to be with your friends?
Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You mean to tell me that you have all these dudes in your DMs, and you're still single? Really? 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 They're all just not worth your time, Tommy? Every single one of them? I guess no, because they're all bloody simps, right? It's probably how you feel about them. You probably wouldn't say that. You probably wouldn't call them simps. It's probably how you feel about them. Which again says more about you than it does about them. But, it's none of my business. The fact that you have all of these options of males you could date, and then you elect not to, and then somehow complain about men, and like we need to do anything different, when you could literally just pick one of the thousands of men who are offering themselves to you. You dumbass.
What are girls like you, what are they looking for? I laid them out for you very simply there. In order to have a shot with a girl like me or girls like my friends, girls that are worth a damn, you don't really have to be Brad Pitt. You don't have to be famous. You don't even really have to make a lot of money or have a really fantastic job. You just have to be determined. You have to be in some way successful in that you want to attain some certain kind of success for yourself. You're driven. You have goals. You can handle a woman with standards. That's not going to turn you off.
Again, notice how they're not looking for honor. They're not looking for virtue. They're not looking for fathers to their children. Husbands that will protect them and love them. They just want an ego boost. That's all that is. It's unfortunate, but that's what human relations between males and females has come to in 2020. So actually it's been like this for like past couple decades, but most people don't distill it as the way I do.
And you're going to put in the effort to be with somebody like myself or my friends. We deserve that. And we will not compromise our standards. I tell you this, it will be a cold day in hell when I chase a man.
What if, and just hear me out here, Tommy, but what if, I know I sound like a little bit of a broken record here, but what if he was a really good person? What if he was awesome? I remember, this was my friend way back in high school. This kid was the absolute best of us. I mean, he was polite. He was kind. He was thoughtful. You know, he was intelligent. He was the absolute best of us. And he was virtuous. His first girlfriend broke up with him because he wouldn't have sex with her. He was like, no, I want to be married. I want to be married to you first. She was like, I want the dick. And this man, he is the best of us. This man was like, no. And she broke up with him. Of course, fortune smiled upon him because he ended up getting married. He got married. So actually, a girl who's a friend of mine, actually. They're both friends of mine. And they're married. They're still married. I think they actually have like 2 children now. I tell that anecdotal story to say that my friend was a man of very high moral character. And he got a whole wife. That could have been you, Tommy, if you just picked a man that had high moral fiber and character. But you won't.
And I know that's the same thing for my friends as well. And if my friends are listening and they're thinking about chasing a man, please, for the love of God, do not. Because there is not one single man on planet Earth, okay, that is worth making any woman feel like she is not good enough.
I told you guys. Ego. I told you. And she's just saying it. All she did was confirm what I said. I told you. It's all about ego. Told you. I told you. I told you.
I don't care how hot a girl is, how smart, how successful, how rich. We have all dealt with men who treat us like we are not good enough. No.
I'll be honest with you, Tommy. Considering the fact that you're an attractive blonde white woman, I imagine you also dealt with plenty of men who probably tried to make you feel that you were the greatest thing that ever happened. I know I certainly have tried very hard for very many women I have met. I probably shouldn't say very many, but at least 4. And I can tell you this, despite how much I tried to make that girl, despite the poems, despite the love, despite the care, despite all my efforts, it meant absolutely nothing. Because I don't know, because I was ugly. In some cases, because I was black. And for one of them, she who must not be named, the very fact that I was indeed a very good person was the very reason why she ended our relationship. All I'm saying, Tommy, maybe if you stop being an arrogant dumbass for all of 15 seconds, you might realize there are plenty of men that you could date, but you won't because you're too stuck on having your high-ass standards. Well, that's about the end of her video and subsequently the end of mine. Yeah, this one was pretty long because her original video was long. But let me just summarize it with this. I really am getting sick and tired of women complaining about the quality of men when all women really have to do is just pick the men that are already there that are good. There's nothing to be said apart from that. That's the end of the conversation. Honestly, from this day forward, actually I've already been doing this, but I would suggest you, as a young man, to just literally, if any woman just starts like complaining about the quality of men, literally just say, then just date the men who aren't like that, and just end the conversation there. That'll be the end of that, because there's nothing left to be said there. That's just it. That's it. That's it. That's it. With that being said, I certainly hope you guys got something out of today's video, and if you did, man, go and click the like button. Yeah, shoot, go and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comment box below, and as always, you guys have yourselves a great day. I'll see you cool cats soon. Adios.